Hi everyone, this is Christina. I'm back with a follow-up video to my egg carton tutorial. During that tutorial I was talking about making egg carton clay, which is basically just shredded egg cartons soaked, and you add glue to make this like kind of a paste out of the paper. I had mentioned during that video while we were making ornaments and decorations for Christmas that it would be really easy to do like a gingerbread house or something like that, some other kinds of holiday decor. So I'm back to show you how to make that gingerbread house. As I mentioned last time, and I did not do it this time, just so you can see the difference, this pulp is kind of chunky, and you can kind of see the texture here, but if you wanted to try when you soak your egg carton to then put it through the blender, once it's, pulpy, you kind of do like probably 1 part egg carton to 2 parts water or something like that, those shredded pieces, and you can just kind of bring it down to a finer pulp and then run it through a mesh strainer, and you still will get this texture. You can't avoid this texture, but it might make it smoother, and it's something to just experiment with if you'd like to try it. So what I did was I cheated a little bit. I have gingerbread cookie cutter pieces here. So I have all the parts and pieces to make a gingerbread house. What I did was I actually traced those to make the parts out of cardboard. I did cheat a little bit. But the one thing that you need to remember if you're going to do this and you don't have those cookie cutters to trace with is that the height of this rectangle here on this part of the house is the same as the sides. So you can make the house as long as you want, but that measurement right here is going to be the same height. Then you'd add whatever, triangle you want to the top, however you want your peak to look. The roof pieces would be probably like 1 inch taller than the space that you have open here, and I would say 2 inches wider, so 1 inch on each side wider, just so you have like a little bit of an overhang there. When I put this together, before I added any paper mache to it, I actually painted the insides of each piece black so that when I hot glued it all together, it would just be in shadow in there and you wouldn't see, my address printed on the inside or anything like that. You wouldn't have that distraction. So that's something to consider. You could really go all out and you could paint the interiors if you wanted to, and that would be really fun, especially if you have an older child who wants to be involved in the process. That would be a great project. But even my 6-year-old son jumped in on this and he really enjoyed it. So it is definitely a great family project to do. And then it's just a great, sort of conversation piece for decoration, or, something that can be played with as well as appreciated. So I wanted to show you sort of each step of the process here. That's why I left this face blank. So I hot glued this all together, and then I really just spread this paste out. I used a butter knife as sort of like to spackle it all on and smooth it out. And I did, I kind of went over the edges of things just to kind of let that, fall over. It's going to be snow, most likely, so, you can let it be lumpy and things like that. But it goes right up on the walls of the house very easily, and you can kind of spread it around. I didn't do it any thicker than 1/4 of an inch, and it really made the drying process go a lot quicker. So once I had this all hot glued together, I added the paste all over it. I actually put it in the oven for a little while. I just, lined a cookie sheet with some tin foil. I made a lot of different like candy pieces, sort of like gumball shapes and like those little circular candy shapes, candy canes. My son helped me with a lot of that. So we did a bunch of those and we put them on a cookie sheet with this. And I just put it in the oven for like 20 to 30 minutes at 250. And I peeked in and on it a lot because I was a little nervous about having cardboard in my oven. It was steaming for a little while, but other than that, I had no real concerns. I did have some hot glue dripping, so after about that 20-30 minutes, it wasn't completely dry, but I could feel that it was almost completely dry. So that really sped up the process for drying. So, give it a shot. You could go a little cooler in the oven if you wanted to too, just to, warm it up and kind of get some of that water out of there. That's another good reason to really wring out all of this before you add the glue to make your paste so that it's really thick and not so wet and soupy. So this is what it looks like when it comes out. I definitely did smooth this on, but it sort of gets like a raisin effect to it once it dries. You're always going to have that texture, but like I said, if you try out the blender trick, that might make it a little smoother. So I would just embrace it, especially with something like this. It's going to be, like candy icing, all those things. So you can just kind of say, oh, it's a lot of snow on that house. But also you could play with different tools to make indentations in this. They will stay. So if you wanted to do something like that as well, you could, and just kind of embrace that texture. I then used acrylics and painted everything. I hot glued all of my little candies on. My son was loving this process and just thought it was so cool. So we had a really good time making it together. I did some drips of hot glue on a flat surface and let them cool, and then I peeled them off and put them up here to have some icicles. And this is just going to be a great little like conversation piece, centerpiece, for our decorations. And it can also just be something that we play with, which is great because we're going to be inside a lot this winter. We're going to be looking for some more activities during the holiday season, and I think this is just a great project to kind of bring people together or just to involve somebody. Like, I had a good time just doing this on my own, and it was just a big project that I wouldn't have expected to do, but I really did enjoy it. I used hot glue on these shingles as well. I painted over it and, just kind of played around. And the good thing about the hot glue is you can just peel it off if it's not working out for you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. And good luck to you. Have fun. Bye.